join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Humphrey, maybe we can just head on over to the podium here.
Good use of standing up.
Yeah.
Stand.
You're doing really good.
First today.
You were quite impressive last night.
Okay, we've got 3 proclamations today. The first one is designated for National Preparedness Month in Clermont County. Okay, National Preparedness Month in Clermont County, September 2016. Whereas no community is truly prepared for a disaster until every individual, family, and household takes personal responsibility for preparedness. And whereas National Preparedness Month is a national effort sponsored by the Federal Emergency Management Agency READY campaign to educate and empower Americans to prepare for and respond to all types of emergencies in their homes, schools, and businesses. Whereas Clermont County Citizen Corp Council is committed to providing public education for our citizens, and whereas Clermont County Board of Commissioners strive to alleviate suffering and protect the lives and properties of its citizens through mitigation, planning, response, and recovery for all hazards. Therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners do hereby proclaim the month of September 2016 as the National Preparedness Month in Clermont County, signed by the Commissioners. So, ma'am, thank you. I'm sure you've got something to talk about.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm Pam Haverkoss. I'm the Clermont County Emergency Management Agency Director, and we just wanted to take the opportunity to talk about national preparedness and general preparedness. As was mentioned, September is National Preparedness Month, and we're encouraging all residents to take some time to get prepared, to get informed about the hazards that could impact them in their homes and their communities, to build or develop a family emergency plan and a communications plan on how they would communicate should they be separated from their family members, and then building a disaster supply kit or an emergency supply kit, and then getting involved. Talk to their family members, talk to their neighbors, talk to their school about how they would respond if there was an emergency. So where preparedness is contagious, so the more we get the word out there, the more we'll be resilient as a community. We have updated our county EMA website, so there's some tremendous resources on our website. So if you want more information, go to our website at www.ema.clermontcountyohio.gov.
There's also an upcoming chamber luncheon or something that you're involved with?
Yes, we are partnering with the Chamber of Commerce and the Small Business Development Center on September 13th to do a preparedness event for small businesses. So if anyone's interested, it's a free event. Duke Energy is sponsoring lunch. It's going to be at the Eastgate Broomview from 11 to 1. And so you can go to the Chamber's website to register, and we hope to see everyone there. And then
they're not doing their IPAs or anything that day, are they?
IPAs. Oh, no.
Got a nice
We'll have soda and water. And then we'll be participating in a variety of different safety events throughout the month of September and October. So please look for us. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very good.
Picture?
Sure.
I don't know what we are on the schedule.
National Patriot Day's next.
Patriots Day.
Okay.
The next proclamation is National Patriots Day. I don't know if there's anybody here. I think we do. Aisle 3. Come on up. We still like you, Howard. All right, this is for September 11th. proclamation of National Patriots Day in Clermont County. Whereas 15 years have passed since our country was brutally attacked on a quiet September morning. On that day, thousands of innocent lives were taken from us. The victims and the families who lost loved ones remain in the hearts and prayers of our nation. We also remember the courage of the firefighters, the police officers, emergency rescue personnel, and scores of private citizens who showed the true meaning of heroism. And whereas the mission that began on September 11th of 2001 continues, today we see the virtue of the September 11th heroes embodied in our military personnel. We are grateful to all these men and women and their families for their sacrifice and their service. We honor those who have lost their lives defending our freedom. And whereas we mark this solemn anniversary, we call upon all of our citizens to express their patriotism and their gratitude for the blessings of liberty. We fly the flags, supporting military families and teaching young people about our country's founding principles. We honor the lives lost on September 11th of 2011, signed by the 3 commissioners. So, who's going to present? Howard?
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go.
I wanted to introduce Thomas Cooper, our American Legion representative, and Kenny Cook, our VFW, which is Veterans of Foreign Wars. And they're both commissioners, and they're all three of us are Vietnam veterans, and very proud of that. Thomas was in the tank, so don't worry about that. Kenny was in the Navy, but he's the only Navy guy I know that was in Vietnam on shore.
Not tank tower, armored cab.
Okay, armored cab, and I was air cab. But anyway, Patriots Day is, we're all patriots. Our office is patriotic, and we're so proud that our county is patriotic too. And we got 15,951 veterans in Clermont County now, and we're proud of those, and we're proud to accept this honor. And we wish 9/11 didn't happen, but it did. But God bless the USA.
Howard, are there any ceremonies or services during the month?
Well, the American Legion is having their conference this week in Cincinnati at the Convention Center. If you really want to get technical, you could see Miss Clinton. You probably get to see Mr. Trump.
Yeah.
Uh,
Trump's in Mexico.
is he
coming
gonna-
up for this.
he's coming.
But he's coming.
Tomorrow.
He's coming.
Clinton did
Uh,
Trump tomorrow.
As far as 9/11, I'm not real sure.
There is one.
Is there one?
Milford VFW over on Route 131.
Okay.
They're having a flag retirement ceremony and also a 9/11 ceremony on Sunday. I believe it falls on Sunday.
It does.
Did
So
you
it
know
will
any?
be on 9/11. They are having one at Milford VFW over on Route 131.
So if you have a worn out, tired flag, they'll take care of it.
We will take care of those flags too for you. Yes.
We're taking, I think we're sending 2 boxfuls over there.
Good. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
And a picture.
Oh, only came.
We've lost our fire chief lost his mother, and she lay down today. Thank you.
And I bet Leanne's gonna accept the next one. Or who's gonna accept the next one? This is a proclamation recognizing Suicide Prevention Week in Clermont County. Whereas suicide is a serious health issue impacting our nation, and whereas the United States, one person dies of suicide every 12.8 minutes, totaling over 41,000 suicides annually. It's not in the piece here, but I remember from a previous one that an important statistic that for each 3 homicides we have in the United States, there are 5 suicides. So it is very much a unspoken concern. Suicide's preventable here in Clermont County, and help's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through the Clermont County Crisis Hotline at 528-SAVE. And the stigma associated with mental health issues and suicide works against suicide prevention by discouraging people at risk for suicide from seeking life-saving help and further traumatizing survivors of suicide. And whereas the Clermont County Mental Health and Recovery Board, as the lead agency for Clermont County suicide prevention and founder of the Clermont County Crisis Line, continues its efforts to increase both awareness of the myths and facts surrounding suicide, the resources available to assist persons dealing with depression and other mental health problems in order to help prevent suicide. Now therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners do hereby designate September the 5th through September the 11th as Suicide Prevention Week in Clermont County, and declare suicide prevention as a Clermont County-wide priority, urging all citizens to recognize suicide as a national, state, and local public health concern. By collaborating together, the endeavor saves lives. Signed by the Board of County Commissioners, Bob Proud, David Ubel, and myself, Ed Humphrey.
Thank you.
Sure. I bet you have a few words.
I do. I just want to say a few words. Hi, I'm Leanne Watson. I'm the Associate Director at the Clermont County Mental Health and Recovery Board. And I just wanted to spend a few minutes to tell you about our annual event that we do to honor people that we've lost during the year to suicide. This is our 15th year to do this, and it's a candlelight vigil. It'll be held on September 14th from 6:30 to 8 at the Veterans Park in Union Township. We thankfully have had a decrease in suicides in the last year. We've gone from 35 in 2014 to 19 in 2015. And we really attribute that to a lot of the programming that we've been doing in the community, a lot of marketing of our crisis hotline, which is 528-SAVE, and a lot of programming that we do in the schools, specifically SOS, or signs of suicide, to train teachers as well as students to recognize the signs of suicide, to be able to call then and get some help. Karen, did you have anything to add?
I don't think so. Just that we really want to make sure people know that help is available. That's the biggest piece here. Every suicide is a loss of someone in this community, and it affects not just the community, the family, friends, and everything. So we really want to get that number down to 0. That's our goal. And as the numbers go down, and we believe that we're doing something to help. And I also just wanted to thank Commissioner Humphrey. He has been a regular at this event every year, and I think that means a lot to the people that are there.
Absolutely.
So we really appreciate
Thank you.
your involvement in that.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 15 years. We were 35 last year, 19 this year. What was the high?
Our high was, I believe, around 36, and that was probably about 4 years ago. And we also have had a decrease in youth suicides, which is, thankfully, we have had that decrease. We had 1 last year, and we were averaging about 3 to 4 a few years ago. So, yes, annually. So I really think we're putting the 528-SAVE information on the back of the student IDs for high school and middle school, and I think that really has made a difference.
I bet it is.
Yes. So we're glad about that.
Let's get our picture.
All right, thank you.
Okay. The next order of business today is item 4, Resolution 139-16, resolving to approve payment to vendors in the amount of $1,210,809.05. Can we get a motion?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Yubel?
Yes. Item 5.
Recommendation of Judy Eshman, the Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybold, County Administrator, to authorize Judy Eshman to execute an agreement for Help Me Grow services by and between the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services, acting in its role as the administrative agent for the Clermont County Family and Children First, and the Clermont County Board of Developmental Disabilities out of Batavia, Ohio, for the provision of centralized coordination services for the Help Me Grow intervention and the Help Me Grow home visiting programs for families in Clermont County, Ohio, as outlined therein, an amount not to exceed $76,900 for state fiscal year 2017, effective on July 1st of 16, or upon execution of both parties, whichever occurs later, through June 30th of 17, pursuant to the terms and conditions specified therein and contingent upon the issuance and receipt of a purchase order required therefore.
We get a motion to execute an agreement for Help Me Grow services with the contingencies.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Yubel?
Yes. Item 6.
Recommendation of Judy Eshman, the Director of Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybold, County Administrator, to execute Amendment Number 6 to the sub-grant agreement by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and Easter Seals Tri-State LLC out of Cincinnati, Ohio, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on June 25th of 14, and subsequently amended on June 25th of 14, June 15 of 15, August 12th of 15, and June 8th of 16, as well as extended through an extension of sub-grant agreement on June 15th of 15 and June 1 of 16, for the provision of Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA services, and a TANF assistance for needy families, temporary assistance for needy families, or TANF, Summer Youth Employment Program, for eligible youth in Clermont County, Ohio, for the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services, Ohio Means Jobs, Clermont Division, to revise the line item budget for the temporary assistance and needy families Summer Youth and Program to reflect a more accurate budget based on the anticipated expenses for serving youth for the period of May the 1st of 16 through June 30th of 17, with an increase to the total sub-grant agreement amount of $119,512.97 for revised total amount not to exceed $518,804.97 for the TANF Summer Youth Employment Program, as outlined in Revised Exhibit A, attached thereto and made a part thereof, effective for the period of May the 1st of 16 through June 30th of 17, with all other terms and conditions of the original sub-grant agreement, amendments and extensions of agreement thereto to remain in full force and effect, and contingent upon the issuance and receipt of a purchase order therefore.
Connie, do you think that was a run-on sentence?
I think it was.
Can we get a motion to execute the amendment number 6 to the sub-grant agreement with Easter Seals Tri-State LLC with the contingency?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Yubel?
Yes.
I would like to say that the increase was based on the increase in participation in the TANF Summer Youth Program this year, 30% increase over last year's program participation, which is a good thing.
More advertising, or what are we doing to get the word out there?
I would say probably yes, advertising and word of mouth. The Easter Seals is doing a good job for that.
Good. I know in the past, we've not been able to use the money. We haven't had enough participation, right?
I would like to thank Kathleen Williams for using Twitter and Facebook and all
Good.
social media. It attracted tons of youth.
Well, that's what the youth listens to, right? They're not watching these TV shows. Well, good. Okay, thanks, Con. Item 7.
Recommendation of Judy Eshman, the Director of Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybold, County Administrator, to execute a purchase of service agreement by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and St. Joseph's Orphanage out of Cincinnati, Ohio, for the provision of residential treatment services for children referred by the Department of Job and Family Services and/or Clermont County Juvenile Court at the rate of $390.52 per day, effective July 1 of 16 through June 30th of 17, pursuant to and compliance with the terms and conditions specified therein and contingent on the issuance and receipt of a purchase order therefore.
We get a motion to execute a purchase of service agreement with the St. Joseph Orphanage with the contingency.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Yubel.
Yes. Item 8.
Item number 8 is also the recommendation of Judy Eshman to execute a second purchase of service agreement, and this one is by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and Pomegranate Health Systems of Central Ohio Incorporated. They're out of Columbus, Ohio. This is also for the provision of residential treatment services for children referred by the Department of Job and Family Services and/or Clermont County Juvenile Court. The rate is $398, effective for the period of September 25th of 16 through September 24th of 17, pursuant to and compliance with the terms and conditions specified therein and contingent upon the issuance and receipt of a purchase order therefore.
Can we get a motion to execute a purchase of service agreement with the Pomegranate Health Systems of Central Ohio with the contingency?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Yubel.
Yes. Item 9.
Recommendation of Judy Eshman, Director of Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Roybal, County Administrator, to authorize David H. Hubel, Vice President of the Board of County Commissioners, in the absence of Robert L. Proud, the President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute a memorandum of understanding by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and Highland County Department of Job and Family Services out of Hillsborough, Ohio, for the provision of child care training by the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services to employees of the Highland County Department of Job and Family Services in order to educate the staff and maintain the child care program in Highland County at no cost to Highland County, effective for the period of August the 1st of 16 through October 31st of 16, with said services to be provided by Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services as staff time permits and without hindering the services provided to Clermont County citizens through Clermont County programs, pursuant to the terms and conditions specified therein in concert with Chapter 5104 of the Ohio Revised Code relative to publicly funded child care services therefore.
We'll go ahead and do item 10.
That's okay.
We'll do item 10, but can we get a motion to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Highland County Department of Job and Family Services?
I
As
think that's
mentioned.
an excellent thing that we can work together, and yes, I'll make that motion.
Good. I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Yes, I'll
Hubel?
second the motion. You have 9 on your schedule?
Let me look here, because I have a different draft. Oh, here we go.
Page before.
Apologize for that. Recommendation of Judy Eshman, Director of Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybalt, County Administrator, to authorize to authorize David H. Hubel, Vice President of the Board of County Commissioners, again in the absence of Robert L. Proud, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute a training agreement by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and Mercy Health Clermont Hospital out of Batavia, Ohio, for the provision of CPR and first aid training sessions to foster parents in Clermont County, Ohio, at the rates as defined therein, for a total cost not to exceed $9,000, effective July 16th of 16 through July 15th of 19, pursuant to the terms and conditions specified therein and contingent upon the issuance and receipt of a purchase order therefore.
Great. Can we get a motion to execute a training agreement with Mercy Health Clermont Hospital as referenced in item 9?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Yubel.
Yes. There's an upcoming foster parent conference, Connie, in a couple weeks here, so I'm sure they'll be teaching them that weekend as well.
Yes.
Item 11.
Good morning. I'm Lyle Bloom, Director with the Clermont County Water Resource Department, and item 11 is a recommendation to authorize David H. Hubel, Vice President of the Board of County Commissioners, in the absence of Robert L. Proud, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute change order number 1 to the contract with Howe Contractors Incorporated out of Fort Wright, Kentucky. This was previously ratified by the board on April 22nd, 2015. relative to the Woodville Pike Water Main Replacement Project located in Goshen Township, and represents a decrease in the amount of $119,642.78 for a total adjusted contract price to date of $1,458,622.22, as well as a time extension of 215 calendar days for completion, for a revised contract completion date of June 24th, 2016, for additions, deletions, and/or modifications to the contract. The time extension, the excessive time extension, was to allow the contractor time to complete yard restoration there. They were dealing with a lot of rainfall. Last summer was a very wet summer, and that just kind of continued through the winter and through the spring. But they finally got all the yard restoration completed this June. And then the deduct in the contract, about $80,000 of that was for deducts for pavement restoration and controlled density fill. As the project was under construction, we had some property owners that agreed to grant us easements, and that allowed us to move the water main out of the pavement and into the yard, and resulted in a pretty sizable decrease to the contract amount.
Good. Okay, can we get a motion to execute change order number 1 to the contract with Howe Contractors for project number 6401-60113 relative to the Woodville Pike water main replacement, which represents a decrease in the amount of $119,642.78.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. Number 12.
Item number 12 is a recommendation to award the bid relative to the Beachmont South Lift Station Improvements Project, the Nagel Lift Station Improvements Project, and the Nature Run Lift Station Upgrade Project located within Union and/or Pierce Townships pursuant to the plans and specifications to Ford Development Corporation out of Cincinnati for the lowest and best bid received on July 21st, 2016 for the combination bid of all 3 lift stations. For a total amount not to exceed $859,228, and to execute the contract relative thereto pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein, and the award of bid therefore, and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order. The estimate on this was $790,000 was the engineer's estimate. So this combined bid was just below the threshold, was about 109% of the engineer's estimate. We're allowed to award up to 110%, so they were just below the threshold to where we couldn't award.
Well, I assume this is a new lift station, right?
These are 3 existing lift stations. They're
Rebuilt.
all approximately 40 years old, and this is renovation of all 3 lift stations.
Okay, can we get a motion to award the bid for project 6402-60135 and 6402-60136 and 6402-60137 relative or to the Ford Development Corporation, and to execute the contract number 6402-60135-90 with the contingency.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. 13.
Item 13 is a recommendation to approve the request to advertise for bids for granular activated carbon, or GAC, contactor media reactivation for the county waterworks system pursuant to the specifications, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on September 8th, 2016, schedule a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on Thursday, September 15th, 2016 at 10 a.m., with bids to be received until 2:00 p.m. local time on Thursday, September 22nd, 2016, here in the office of the Board of County Commissioners, where they will be publicly open and read aloud shortly thereafter, and the legal notice will also be posted on the county's website. And this is our annual regeneration of the GAC media that's used at our Bob McEwen water treatment plant. This year we're going to be, the actual regeneration will occur in 2017, but we've got 6 contactors there, and we're only regenerating 4 of the 6. The 2 that we're not regenerating were just put into service. We were able to reduce some of the usage of those and able to conserve those and reduce our annual operating cost.
So annually, I forget years past, but how much do we spend for the granular activated carbon?
Yeah, it's close to $700,000. Each contactor holds about 110,000 pounds of carbon, and it's around $1 a pound to regenerate each one. So the estimate for these 4 contactors is $450,000. So by only
Okay.
needing to regenerate 4, we're saving about probably around $220,000, $230,000.
For the 4, how many pounds of carbon is that?
That is, boy, 440,000 pounds of carbon. Making me do math. Not a calculator.
Just checking, make sure you're awake today.
Because you learn
All
how to
right.
do it without a
Yeah.
calculator.
We get a motion to advertise for bids for granular activated carbon, contractor media reactivation, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in the newspaper of general circulation as outlined in item 13.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lau. Sorry to put you on the spot there, but
You did well.
morning, Suki.
Your
morning.
turn.
Item 14 is a recommendation to establish the Clermont County Communications Center 2015 cost allocation rates. These rates are necessary to recover the incremental cost from the users of the system, and it represents 25.3% of the actual 2015 cost to operate the comm center. These are computed based on the actual billable dispatches as well as the actual airtime that we had for last year. They will be billed this coming month, September, and they'll be payable by May 1st of next year. We're a little late getting them to them because of the transition from the 2 radio systems. We had to get radio airtime. It also resulted in a lot less airtime than we had before. We had a combination, fewer radios on last year, as well as a change in which radios we're actually using for airtime purposes. So the rates for next year, the rates they'll pay next year based on last year, for the public safety governmental users, it's $7.83.83, which is down from the $8.33 the year before. For the other dispatch users, the ones that are dispatched out of the comm center, will be $6.7638, which is down from 7.04 cents last year. And then the people that are just using airtime, it's going to be $1.24.24 per minute of airtime, which is actually up from about 62 cents last year. But their net bill should be roughly about the same unless they completely changed how many dispatches were to their organization, because not dispatches, how much airtime was recorded to their organization. Because the number of minutes of airtime is down from 255,000 minutes to 98,000 minutes.
Is there a reason for that?
The conversion of the 2 systems, so the number of minutes that we got on the old system and the number of minutes we got on the new system, it's just dropped, but like I said, some of the radios are down too. So their net cost should,
Alternatives to our radio system, because that's a fairly high rate.
excuse me?
They may be finding alternatives to our radio system because that's a fairly high rate per minute, $1.24.
I'm not sure how they're communicating if they're not using our radio, but it could be. I mean, they could be using their MDCs more than their radios now.
Is because of the way we track users. In the old system, in order to talk on the Clermont County system, you had to have a Clermont County ID. So Hamilton County, Warren County, all our partners in business, they had a Clermont County ID, which every time they keyed up and did business with us, we tracked that airtime. In the new system, it's a system of systems. It's one system. One ID works throughout the entire system. So those people that have their own IDs, like Hamilton County and our partners, they're no longer tracked on our system. That's why you see that large drop in airtime. So we're truly only tracking people that use our system, our Clermont County users. That's the.
Thanks, John. So then we have these rates, and we're billing what, townships for this, or who do we bill?
We will bill the townships, we will bill the fire EMS like Central Joint, we'll bill the villages, anybody that's dispatched or on our system. As far as other users, it'll be the engineer, CTC, animal shelter, the Clermont to the Rescue. Those are some of the other type users, water, sewer, if they have any dispatches. So we'll bill those type of people too.
Okay. Then can we get a motion to establish the Clermont County Communications Center 2015 cost allocation rates as outlined in the table in item 14?
So moved?
I'll second the motion. You got a first and a second?
I do. Mr. Humphrey?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. Mr. Wade?
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Noticed the grass was cut this morning? Nobody noticed?
Yes,
saw
of
it.
course.
Okay. We didn't fire him yet either. Agenda item number 15 is a recommendation for myself, Wade Grabowski, Director of Clermont County Facilities, with the concurrence of Mr. Stephen H. Rabel, County Administrator, to accept the contract by and between the Board of Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, and Garland DBS, Inc. out of Cleveland, Ohio, for the Heritage Building Roof Replacement Project as complete as of February 23, 2016, and to approve the application and certificate for payment number 2 in the amount of $95,749.65, which represents the final progress payment, therefore, and further, to authorize the county auditor to issue the reference progress payment subsequent hereto.
No,
And it didn't leak, so that's a good thing.
Yet.
Can we get a motion to accept the contract with Garland DBS, Inc. and to approve the application and certificate for payment number 2 as outlined in item 15?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wade. Andy Kuchka.
Good morning. I'm Kukta, Director of Community and Economic Development. This item is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 140-16 to authorize the transfer and conveyance of 0.025 acres of real estate, which works out to 1,000 square feet plus or minus, just in case I would get a math quiz later. Out of parcel number 413105D140, located in Union Township, entitled in the name of the Board of Clermont County Commissioners, to the Clermont County CIC for the consideration of $8,700, and to authorize Robert L. Proud, President of the Board, or in his absence, any other member of the Board, to execute the limited warranty deed as prepared by the Office of the Prosecuting Attorney. This also authorizes me to execute all other documents necessary to convey the property and complete recording of the transaction. This is a portion of a larger parcel purchased for the original construction of the Eastgate Boulevard overpass of State Route 32 way back in the early 70s, I believe. It's not needed by the board for anything, but it is required for the redevelopment of an adjacent vacant retail building to meet some of their expanded uses of the property per Union Township zoning code. And there are no other adjacent landowners that could possibly have any use for it, so it doesn't make any sense to accept public bids on it. So just transferring this through the CIC.
Commissioner Humphrey and I went out and looked at this last week, I believe, early this week, Monday. So that's fine.
I thought it was a month ago, maybe.
Oh, this is the one at the old Sears store. Okay.
Oh,
Correct.
okay.
Yep.
Right.
Okay,
For the vacation of the right-of-way.
that's right. Yep, got it. All right, then we get a motion to adopt Resolution 140-16 and further authorize Andy Kutka to Department of Economic and Community Development to execute all other documents necessary to convey said property and complete recording of the transaction relative hereto.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Lisa Gatwick, Clermont County Connection, Transportation Connection.
Lisa Gatwood, Director of Clermont Transportation Connection. It's my recommendation, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Rabel, County Administrator, to authorize a pay supplement in the amount of $1 per training hour for the positions of CTC Supervisor and Administrative Supervisor 1 within the Clermont Transportation Connection to conduct training for newly hired non-CDL vehicle operators to enable them to qualify for and obtain their Class B CDL with passenger endorsement licenses within the established 180-day probationary period thereof, effective 8/31/16.
Lisa, if I may, can you explain what we're trying to accomplish by
Yes.
doing this?
CTC's been having difficulty recently getting applicants. We typically looked for applicants that already had their CDL when they walked in the door. But we're finding, as the job market is changing, we're having more and more a lack of applicants coming in because there are so many more jobs out there. So we decided to try a couple of non-CDL positions that are training positions within the table of organization. And we're bringing in some folks that do not have a CDL. We'll work with them. We have some staff that can do that. teach them what they need to know. They have to take a written test as well as skills driving tests in the bus in order to get their CDL. So they'll have a 180-day probationary period within to do the training, learn everything that they need to do, and go pass their test and get their CDL. At that point, then we would promote them up to full-time CDL vehicle operator. So this is hopefully a way to help us get some folks in the door that don't have a CDL, and then get them trained and on board full-time.
So a CDL vehicle operator, those are large vehicles, I take it?
They are.
Buses and trucks and things?
Yes, yes. We have a variety of vehicles in our fleet. The largest are two 40-foot buses. So they would know how to drive the 40-foot buses, and then they would also know how to drive the smaller cutaway vehicles that are for our door-to-door service.
Good.
All of those require a CDL.
That's correct, they do.
And it's not just a CDL, because we've had CDL, because truck drivers, for example, have commercial CDLs, but in this case, because they're driving passengers, you have to have a passenger endorsement.
Correct,
Specific-
they have a passenger
specific
endorsement.
kind.
And then the large 40-foot buses have air brakes,
brakes.
so they must have air brakes as well.
Okay, can we get a motion to authorize a supplemental pay in the amount of $1 per training hour for the positions of CTC Supervisor and Administrative Supervisor 1 within the CTC as referenced in item 17?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. Thanks, Lisa. Morning, Craig. Item 18.
Craig Reisner, Clermont County Engineer's Office. Item number 18, recommendation of Patrick J. Monger, County Engineer, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybold, County Administrator, to authorize the release of a performance bond for sidewalks in the amount as follows for the following subdivision located in Batavia Township. The subdivision is Woodbury Glen, Section 3B. The performance bond for sidewalks in the amount of $7,600.
We get a motion to authorize the release of the performance bond for sidewalks in the Woodbury Glen subdivision as referenced in item 18.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
19 is recommendation of Patrick J. Monger, County Engineer, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybold, County Administrator, to approve the request for the developer of the following subdivision to reduce the amount of a performance bond for sidewalks heretofore approved by the Board of Commissioners on 8/19/15 as surety, for which the reduced amount reflects a 50% completion thereof. Pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth, this is Pine Bluff Subdivision, Section 1. The original sidewalk bond was $50,960, and the new reduced amount would be $25,480.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve the request of the developer of the following subdivision to reduce the amount of the performance bond for sidewalks as referenced in the table in item 19?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Item 20 is a recommendation of Patrick J. Monger, County Engineer, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybold, County Administrator, to execute record plat number 6292975 for the dedication of additional right-of-way along Loveland-Miamiville Road, total acreage 0.679, located in Miami Township.
Okay, can we get a motion to execute record plat 629-2975 as referenced in item 20?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. Item
Can
21?
you tell us where that is? On Loveland, Miamiville?
Actually, no, I can't.
Okay, very good. We know where Loveland,
It's
Miamiville is.
it's where the care center is, the new care center?
I know it was a function of a zoning request,
Mhm.
and a lot of times we can, as part of the zoning applications, we can get additional right-of-way as part of zoning.
Okay, cool.
Good
Thanks.
answer. Item 21?
Item 21, recommendation of Patrick J. Monger, County Engineer, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybold, County Administrator, to execute record plat number 6292976 for the replat of lots in the following subdivision in Union Township. It's Woodland Tech Center subdivision, and it's a replat of lot 12 and 13, and we're going to create two new lots, lots number 15 and 16.
We get a motion to execute record plat number 629-2976 as outlined in item 21.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. 22.
22, recommendation of Stephen H. Raybold, County Administrator, to acknowledge the receipt of notifications from Patrick J. Munger, County Engineer, on 8/17/2016, 8/23/2016, and 8/25/2016, for his determination to close the following roads to through traffic, with the understanding that all advanced warning and detour signs will be erected and maintained accordingly pursuant to and in compliance with ORC Section 5543.17 of the Ohio Revised Code. So we have two roads, Branch Hill Loveland Road. This is a culvert replacement beginning 9/6/2016 through 9/23/2016. I know exactly where that one's at. I recently walked through that one.
Very good.
And the second one is Charles Snyder Road. And it says at the intersection of Woodville Pike. This is actually at the intersection. This is a short closure, 8/31/2016 through 9/1/2016, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Okay. Can we get a motion to acknowledge the receipt of notifications from Patrick J. Munger, County Engineer, to close the following roads to through traffic as outlined in item 22?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. 23? Oh,
No, you're done.
No, thank you.
Steve?
23. 23 is a recommendation to reappoint the following individual to serve on the Clermont County Convention Visitors Bureau. Board of Trustees for the term outlined below, and it's Tamalia Russell from 9/1/16 through 8/31/19.
Tam was a good addition to that board. Gotten to know her pretty well. Can we get a motion to recommend to reappoint the following individual to serve on the Clermont County Convention Visitors Board, Tamala Russell?
I'll make a motion to make that appointment.
Good. I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. Item 24.
24 is a request of various departments to join professional organizations and authorize payment of the annual dues, the amounts outlined below for membership therein, pursuant to section 325.2 of the Ohio Revised Code, and to authorize reimbursement of routine travel expenses. Board of County Commissioners to the Design Build Institute of America, annual dues are $99, effective 10/31/16 through 10/30/17.
We get a motion to authorize payment of the annual dues pursuant to section 32521 and to authorize reimbursement of the routine travel expenses.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. Okay. Item 25.
Okay.
I'm getting a buzzer for your chair.
I'm sorry. Item 25 is our financials for this week. First, we have our supplemental appropriations. In the probate court special projects fund, other expenses, $3,000. They are going to use that fund to pay for a support agreement for a fingerprint machine. In the public assistance fund, other expenses, $285,158.91. This is to appropriate the additional Title 20 funds that they've received this year. And lastly, we have a cash advance. This is from general fund to the Clermont Transportation, $500,000. This is to advance them until they get their SORTA funds, which usually show up in December.
Okay. We get a motion to approve the budgetary and financial actions for fiscal year 2016 as outlined in item 25.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. Mr. Raybold, item 26.
Item 26, training and travel requests for this week. For the Clermont County Court of Common Pleas, Judge McBride, 3 days, Columbus, Ohio, for the Ohio Judicial College, estimated not to exceed $1,080.72. Clermont County Court of Common Pleas, Domestic Relations Division, Penny Gates, McAfee, 3 days, Columbus, Ohio, the Ohio Association of Magistrates Fall Conference, not to exceed $1,252.84. And McAfee, 1 day, Batavia, Ohio, Elks Run Golf Course, presenting the Clermont County Bar Association on the considerations of allocating dependency tax exemptions, estimated to exceed 0. Come please, Clerk of Courts, Barbara Wiedenbein, Alice Frick, Tammy Hege, Joanne Bailey, and Eric Stratton, 2 days, Columbus, Ohio, the Ohio Supreme Court of Ohio Judicial College, 2016 Super Meeting, not to exceed $1,157. County Sheriff, we have an undercover agent, 13 days, Columbus, Ohio, for the Ohio State Patrol Academy Basic Narcotic Investigator Course, not to exceed 0. Mike McConnell, Chris Willis, and Bill Hogue, 3 days, Tifton, Ohio, the Ohio Jail Advisory Board, Ohio Jail Administrators Conference, not to exceed $1,757.34. Mary Gregory, Jack Grimsley, Kim Miller, and Doug Ventry, 1 day, Columbus, Ohio, the Ohio Columbus Police Academy Ohio Task Force Commanders Association meeting, estimated not to exceed 0. County Engineers Office, Pat Munger, Craig Stevenson, Doug Royer, Jeremy Evans, 3 days, Columbus, Ohio, for the Ohio State University Ohio Department of Transportation 2016 Transportation Engineering Conference, not to exceed $2,730.60. And Department of Job and Family Services, Judy Eschman, 1 day, Xenia, Ohio, for the Southwest Ohio Job and Family Services Directors Meeting, not to exceed $60.48.
Okay. Can we get a motion for the training and travel requests as outlined in item 26?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Humphrey.
Aye.
Shubel.
Yes. 27, we're going to
Yes, we can do that now, sir.
finish up. Go ahead.
Personal actions this week, you have Department of Job and Family Services, Patricia Foxton, FCF Wraparound Facilitator, resignation effective 8/26. Building Inspection Department, Sean Harmon, Building Inspector, a new hire to a new position effective 9/26. Department of Emergency Management Services, Melinda Payne, Systems Analyst 1, resignation effective 8/26. And Water Resources Department, James Smith, and a probation effective 9/6/16.
We get a motion for the personal actions as outlined in item 27.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Humphrey.
Aye.
Shubel.
Yes. And we have need for executive session pursuant to section 121.22G1 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the appointment, employment, or compensation of one or more public employees. Can we get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
And I'll second that.
Humphrey.
Aye.
Shubel.
Yes, we will be back shortly. We are back from executive session. No decisions were made. And in front of us is are the minutes from regular session of August 31st, 2016. And once we've had a chance to review them, we'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I move that we accept the minutes.
And I will second the motion.
Humphrey.
Aye.
Shubel.
Yes. All right, then it's take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Humphrey.
Aye.
Shubel.
Yes. Thank you so much. See you in a week.